Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I am your host, Dr. Morey Mossovitz, with my all-time most favorite, best co-host ever, Jen Albanese. Welcome, Jen.
Hello. Ever. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, we have an awesome guest today in Paul Diasparra. I think I said that right.
Nice job, Morey. Good job.
Nice Italian name, right?
Yep.
Just all around great guy and focused on officiating in basketball and
so interesting. So interesting.
There to help anyone that wants to get into the world of basketball officiating. He's the guy to go to, and he set up some great business and social media. So hopefully everyone checks him out. He talks a lot about training and preparing yourself to be an official. So it made me think about what have I trained for?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that you have to think about training for to be a ref. There's so much that goes into it. I just think people think, oh, they just running up and down the court and making their best guesses on things. But the training is important. If I had to go back and think about the trainings that I have done, we've talked about here on the podcast before about our running, but I trained for a 5K, and that was, probably my limit. I don't know if I could do more than that, but that was my training. And I trained for a while for it. And actually it was a little more than a 5K. It was our corporate challenge in town. And it was 3.5 miles, which is more than a 5K.
I think I did a 5K when I was in 4th grade. And that was the only thing that I had to train for.
Show everybody up. I did it in 4th grade. Okay.
Well, no, whatever. It's everyone did it. I don't know if I made it across the line. I think they had to drag me across the line. So I don't think I'm showing anyone off. All right.
We're going to have to ask your mom for video or photo proof of that.
I remember just trying to get the t-shirt at the end because I just wanted to survive.
Yeah. There you go. Running is a lot to train for. People that train for marathons and stuff, I'm just oh my God, crazy. Chris Fuller. I always think of Chris Fuller when I think about marathons.
Snow with his
bare feet. Yeah.
And a lot of our friends have done the Disney challenges.
The Disney marathons. You go to all the parks. You go to the parks. That would keep my interest.
I was gonna say you can at least look around. It's not boring.
Or
there's always something there.
Like you did if you did the New York City Marathon too, you go from borough to borough. There's things to see when you're running, when you run through Times Square. I feel that'd be kind of cool. But
and talking
still,
to Paul,
I don't
he's done a marathon of officiating, that he was doing 8 games a day. That to me, that's a marathon in itself.
Yeah, your legs would fall off. I don't even know how that happens.
I'd struggle probably to get through one officiating of a game.
Yeah,
there's a lot of back and forth.
No. I know. But have you trained for anything like that besides your 4th grade run?
I guess I did my doctoral degree. It's kind of a training. We have to train to learn how to write. That's not very exciting. That's not athletic by any means.
Oh, it's athletic. I don't know if I could do it.
It's mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of training things that I've done. I feel I guess there's probably something that I'm just not thinking of. But
CPR training, we always had to do that.
That was consistently.
We did that. We do the training that you do at work, like emergency training.
Absolutely.
Which is always good to be
emergency preparedness. We do that every year. So
yeah, which is good, and I think that helps with everything. It's a good training piece. And, Paul talks about the more that you do it, the better that you get at it.
Exactly.
And it's a good place to be in, especially for in emergency situations so you don't panic and freak out.
Absolutely.
Like me. That's definitely me.
No,
so
you'll be okay. We got you trained.
Yes, we are trained and ready for that. So.
Well, with that, we will get into our guests right after these messages.
Are you a loyal 5 Tips and Tricks podcast listener? If not, now is the time to start. Get all your info and fun content on the podcast by following us on all our social channels at @AthCareerPod. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting. Make sure to reach out to us. The one-stop shop for everything is our website, www.athcareer.com. Remember, follow and like us on @AthCareerPod, rate and review us, and get all your info at www.athcareer.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Morey, would you like to introduce our guest?
Absolutely. An NCAA basketball referee, educator, and mentor, as well as a New York City physical education teacher since 2010, Paul Diasparra is the founder of Crown Ref, a global platform and community dedicated to supporting officials through training, mentorship, and resources. A prolific content creator, Paul produces daily clips across all platforms and hosts Crown Ref podcasts. He also offers weekly training sessions, film review services, an online officiating course, and a yearly scholarship program. Additionally, he runs the Crown Ref merch shop and recently launched the Dialed In podcast, which focus on health, wellness, and helping listeners achieving their personal wellness breakthroughs. We're happy to welcome Paul Diasparra to the podcast. Welcome.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Morey. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys tonight.
Well,
awesome.
We're really excited to have you on. Your content's awesome. Just supporting those people that are out there wanting to be referees and officials, which, not an easy job.
No.
A thankless job and something, we've talked with other guests, like really needed out there, right? Like it's not a easy thing to come by, and without the officials, we couldn't be running the games that we have every day. So.
Yeah, there's a national shortage of officials. They say 70% of new officials quit after 3 years due to verbal and physical abuse. So it's a shrinking industry. So we just need to support and empower as many different ways as we can. So that's what I'm here trying to do.
Well, we appreciate that you're out there doing that, and we'd love to hear your tips and tricks about what it takes to be an official, or things just in the world of athletics or physical education. So we'd love to hear from you.
I appreciate the platform and the opportunity, and love what you guys are doing for your community as well. As I was gathering my 4 tips for your show, I think it's only right that I kind of have the number 1 tip before we even get to the 4, and I think this should apply to any industry, any individual. It's you should put your health and wellness absolutely number 1 on your list before you do anything else. I'm so blessed about my family and just the health and well-being of everybody. But I think sometimes you have to look outside of the industry to really make those big jumps. So dialing in your nutrition, your fitness, your mental health, your emotional health, and your social health, which are your relationships, getting that in order before you do anything. And if you can really optimize those components of your life, you're going to be successful in anything you do. But if that is broken, you're going to run into issues no matter what industry you're in. So I think we as a society need to make it number 1 on every list, in my opinion, right? Health is life. So it's the most important thing. So
oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. I love that. And
I mean, so often we always put everyone else before our own health, and then then you're in a bad strait, right? Like what do they say? Like on an airplane, make sure you take care of yourself before you help others. And it's one of those things that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. So it's definitely something that's appreciated.
It's a great reminder, because I think people need that reminder a lot. So I love that that's how you started it. And it doesn't really matter what industry or part of athletics or sport you're in. I mean, it doesn't even have to be in sports. It can be anything. Making sure you're healthy all around to be able to do the best you can in anything else is really important. So that's a great little reminder that people need to hear more often. So I love that.
Awesome start. Awesome start. Okay, number 2, Paul. Let's go.
Well, now we'll get to number 1. Sorry, number 1.
We got a bonus.
Bonus. There you go. Number 1.
Yeah. Number 1 is master the rule book. So if you want to be a basketball official, it starts with taking the class and learning the rules, learning the mechanics, learning the signals, reading through the case book. This is a lot of information. This is the science of officiating. No matter what industry you go to, you're going to have to learn a science, whether you're an athletic director, knowing about facilities, management, staff, leadership, scheduling, all that kind of stuff. For officiating, our rule book is our science. It all starts there. That's where you're going to be able to gain the command of the game, your confidence. It's going to help with your play calling, your accuracy, your communication with coaches, just overall knowledge of the game. So really diving into the science and finding like other officials that you can study with, that you can share test questions with, that you can bounce ideas off of. But absolutely always starts there, is the rule book.
Yeah.
Well, I always am so amazed by the detail that all the officials that I engage with are able to connect, because there are so many individual details that people don't realize that affect you guys. And asking questions. I do game management a lot, and I'm going in there just saying, hey, is this okay? How do you do this? And the confidence with the officials that are out there that know, like, yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you get it done. Is definitely amazing. And I'm fortunate enough to work with some of those ones that are, in NCAA tournaments and out there really learning. So I appreciate their dedication to learning what is a lot of rules.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're looking to make a career out of it, well, you're going to have to learn multiple rule books. We all start with the NFHS, which is the high school rules. But as you move up to NCAA men's or NCAA women's, there's 2 separate rule books right there. The pro has its own rule book. FIBA, for our international listeners or anybody who aspires to work the Olympics or 3-on-3, they have their own set of rules. And 3-on-3 has its own set of rules. So there's about 6 different rule books depending on which level you're trying to go to. And a lot of officials, juggle at least 2 at a time. Me personally, I'm juggling 2. Some more. I wouldn't recommend doing more than 2. It gets a little tricky because I don't think you could necessarily be great at more than 1 at the same time from my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to an official the other day that was doing NCAA Division I and WNBA, and I was like, that it seems like a lot. Like it seems like a lot of coordination and just a travel for that occurs with that, plus plus just all of the logistics and knowing the differences. But it's impressive. It's an impressive skill.
So,
awesome.
Great.
Thank you. Okay,
all
number
right.
2.
Now we're on 2. There we go.
We're on 2. Thank you. Number 2 is on-court reps, game experience, hours spent, right? Hours in the gym. How much time are you putting in? So the second best way to improve your game is to work as many games as you can. So that's going to require you to make a lot of good contacts and build your network and know who assigns games and know who runs different facilities and venues and really relationship build there to give yourself an opportunity to get assigned a high amount of games. And if you can work a high volume of games, like hundreds and hundreds a year, then you can really accelerate your growth and develop your skill set at the level I think. Listen, I teach our officials to be great. Like, we're all here trying to be great. We're not trying to be average. So the more games you work, the more time you spend in, just like anything, you're going to give yourself the best chance to really develop. So taking any game you can, not saying no. I did that my first 5 years. I just worked every game the assigner sent me. I think my second year, I used to keep track of my games. I worked about 650.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That's like that's like more than 1 in a day. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was 3 sports combined. And then the next year I think I did another 630. It was close to 1,300 for 2013 and 2014. And I grew so much from it. Not only is it a good second job, at the time it's my second job, depending on your listeners and what age they are. It could be a first job for students in high school, in college, just getting out of college, maybe in between post-grad in your career. But it's a great opportunity to make a good second check while being on the basketball court or whatever sport you decide to choose. But working,
is that by
yourself.
No, I don't want to interrupt you, but I was going to say, are you working a lot of tournaments? Like, I like, how do you get that many reps in how do you get the connection to make 600 games in a year? Like, because that's a lot of games.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, these are all grassroots games, AAU. As you know, in
Yeah,
AAU, the
AAU.
tournaments, there's a high
Yeah.
volume of games on a Saturday and a Sunday. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I think
So
some venues have 14 games,
Oh
wow.
my God.
just on a Saturday.
So
So
so you'd work like 10 of those, or are you just working all 14, like one after the other? Like,
Can
whew.
you walk after the weekend? Holy
yeah.
moly.
Well, I am not one of the officials who, and I know many of them, who would work 10, 12, 14 games.
Wow.
The most I ever worked in a day was 8. And I
Wow.
wasn't straight. Like I chose to not work 8
Yeah.
games straight. I would work 3. I'd go take a lunch, go to another venue, work 3. That's just how I
Yeah.
did it. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of officials out here grinding, and the way you'll work high volume games is working on the weekends, working men's league games, just doing a lot of youth and rec games. You're not going to work 600
Yeah.
college games in a year or
Right.
600
Yeah,
high school.
That would
yeah.
be a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's so good to hear because that experience piece we've heard from a couple of our guests, getting as much experience. But I think it's true in any area of sport, whether it's being a ref, being a coach, being in facilities or being in marketing or being in sales, like that experience piece only gets you better, only gives you more opportunities to learn and grow, make mistakes and learn and grow. Because obviously, I'm sure when you started, you weren't perfect and you didn't,
Still not.
call a perfect game, and you probably still, I mean, there's room for error, but as you get that experience, you get better and better and better. And I think that's across everything. So it's good to hear that you want to get experience, even if you're going to be a ref too. So I think that's really key, that experience piece. So.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
to piggyback off of the first tip, you're going out and now you're applying the rules. You're practicing the
Exactly.
rules. You're failing
Right.
the rules, which makes you go back to the book and double check.
Right.
And
it's
learn.
all
Right.
connected.
Learn. Yeah. So that's good.
Awesome. Okay, number 3.
Number
I got it
three.
right. 3.
Yes. Number 3 is film study, is breaking down your own games and self-evaluation.
Cool.
Another huge accelerator of your growth is to really become a lab rat. What I mean by that is just you on your couch with your notebook and your pen or your notes app or your computer. You're taking notes, watching yourself, right? We study the rules. We go out and work games. How do we know how we did? We have to evaluate our performance. We have to watch ourselves. I never watched film of myself until I became a ref. Then it was just so eye-opening. It made me so self-aware of myself. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing all this cringe-worthy stuff on the court. I didn't know I'd do that. I have to fix that, right? So, really learning.
That's how I run. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
kidding. I'm kidding.
No, that's one component is seeing your run and making it more fluid and improving your running mechanics. How you stand, how you report a foul, how you speak.
Yeah.
It's just we break down the micro details of everything. One way I'm able to be in the position I am now with a community of over 400 officials from around the world is I deep dove into my own film in 2014, 15, 16, all the way until now. And then I built out a film review service. So after, reviewing myself hundreds of times, I said, I want to help officials use kind of another layer of Crown refs. So we're going to build a film review service where I do a pretty comprehensive breakdown of an official's game that they send me through a link, and I send them back an evaluation report. But
That's
through
so
that
cool.
whole process, I was really able to build my community, and that's one of the main components of our training now is sharing film of yourself and getting feedback from a community of people that you trust and look up to.
That's awesome. How, when you're kind of at the lower levels, like I know from experience from working in college, like I know most of the major college conferences that officials have access to a download from the game that's recorded. But if you're in like a lower level of, high school or, some peewee stuff, how do you get access to that film to make sure that you can, review it for yourself? Like, how do you coordinate that? What's actually the logistics of it?
That's a great question. And if you rewind my story back to 2014, this is way kind of before, YouTube and mobile video sharing and access of film. So I asked myself that same question after coming home from a camp, watching myself on film, saying, I want to do more of this. I need to see I need to break down more film. I had nobody to tell me. There's no cameras
Right.
in the gym. I said,
Right,
okay, I'm
right.
just going to go to Best Buy. I'm going to buy my own camera. Who's going to film me? I don't know. Let me buy the camera first, and I'll figure it out after that.
Right.
So I think my wife was the first person who came to film me.
There you go.
That was the last time she came to film me, because this was not.
One and
This
done.
was. I was not a very good official back then, so I was probably making a lot of mistakes and hearing a lot of negative feedback about it. So it wasn't fun for her to hear that. But then I would hire my friend from work. You know, I was making $86 for a JV game, and I would pay my friend from work $40, half of my game fee. I would drive him to the game. He would film me, and then I would go drop him back home at the train because I had to have the film. So I took it within it was in my control. I took my career in my own hands. And, my friend Isaiah wasn't the only person, whether it was a neighbor, whether it was a student, former student of mine that I would bring to the game with me. I used about 10 people those first couple of years, just capturing my own film, and then would just come home after the game and watch it. Now, with the development of Huddle, other platforms like Local Live, NFHS has a platform. Now you have these cameras that are built in the gym. So they're recording all the time. To your question about more lower level CYO games, that's going to be up to that specific gym. If any, if there's film, it's most likely not going to be there. You would probably have to do it yourself. Or, you just get intuitive, and then you just start looking around. Who's filming? Go have a conversation with them. Hey, can you send me the link? Like, I've had crazy stories where I go up to people in the stands. But it's because I love this. It's because I'm competitive. It's because I want to be the best. So we're talking about film right now, but the real point is just taking matters into your own hand and letting the passion really drive you and create your opportunities.
I mean, I guess I'm showing my age, but I remember when I'd have to burn DVDs for the officials, which is like, I mean, it was a while ago, but like that would be, and everyone wanted one, which is like as you said, that shows a dedication to like who gets to these higher. Because I was working in D1, and you have the dedication of these men and women that really want to be good at it, and without fail, you had to have the DVD ready, and that's what I remember.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the DVD era with my reference.
He's like, so glad I'm not dealing with that.
No VHS tapes. It could have been VHS, but that would have been a really long recording process.
No VHS.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
So number 4 is now training. Is content and camps. So training, finding as many resources as possible, whether you're finding a study group, whether you just find a mentor from your local association, content. Now, I built with Crown Refs what I wanted when I didn't have it back in 14, 15, 16. Like I was searching for these type of resources. I wanted to watch like a ref vlog, like all that kind of stuff. So there's so much at your disposal now, and I would like to think Crown Refs does a lot of that volume. But find any resource you can. Social media has tons of plays and clips and tips. So just really being a connoisseur with trying to find as much material and video podcasts about officiating, hearing other officials who can share those experiences and those hard-fought battles through the industry. And then camps, going with officials. If you want to move up and work higher levels, we have referee camps. Now, they take place in the springtime, in the summer, sometimes in the fall. But really, when the basketball season is over, in a month or two, then the next season for officials is called camp season. So that's where you go. And there's 2 different types of camps, and there's hundreds of camps throughout the country, but there's two main ones. Instructional camps, where you go to learn, where you go to build your foundation, where a lot of newer officials go to learn the basics and the fundamentals. And then you have tryout camps, where you go to move up in higher divisions, mostly NCAA men's, NCAA women's, and pro. So a lot of the big AAU tournaments over the summer, the Nike-sponsored leagues, they're all running in conjunction with these major Division I leagues like the ACC, the Big Ten. They all have these camps. So the big time players are playing in the game, and prospective officials who are trying to reach those levels or ref in those games. And those league coordinators are now watching and giving you evaluations and feedback and determining who they want to hire on their staff.
Absolutely.
It's a big part of it.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
it goes
great.
back to getting the reps in. You get the reps in, you get the exposure, you get the opportunity.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And you ultimately want to go showcase your skills in front of the people that are making hiring decisions and be able to show them a progression from year to year, that you're in it for the long haul, that you're getting better each year, and that you're coachable and teachable.
So for those camps, like, do you get invited to go to those, or can anybody go, or like, how do they determine who can go to those camps?
So the instructional camps are open to anyone. A lot of the tryout camps are open to anyone. As you start to go up in level, like the Division I camps, they're more invite-only camps.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So really, that's a great opportunity. So it's funny that you have the different seasons too. Like you have your camp season is when the basketball season is over for the refs to continue to get practice and work and make more connections. So that's pretty cool.
It's like anything in athletics. There's no break. You just keep going straight through.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
I have a few weeks in August where I really don't do much, but it's a year-round sport.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. Keep going. Awesome. Okay.
All
Jen,
right.
this is the big shebang.
All right, last one for you, Paul. So what do you know now that you wish you knew then? So what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you knew when you first started?
Again, this was kind of tough for me to answer, but I'm going to revert back to, I didn't know how amazing this would be. I didn't know the transformational impact that officiating would have, not only on my life, but my career, my happiness. There's so many transferables that you can take away from officiating. I never thought of the words integrity. I never thought of the words patience. I didn't think of the all of these traits that really help you mature, that you learn through officiating. Because through officiating, we're the bridge between both teams. We're the participant in the game that ensures safety, that ensures fairness, that is the bigger person. There's something honorable about being a referee. That it kind of, if you allow it to, it can rub off in a great way. And officiating has kind of made me want to really be the best person, like just be a truly great human being, be kind to everybody. With officiating, we want to get every call right. So I just want to be right, like in every situation. I just want to do the right thing. I want to say the right things. I don't want to have these vulnerabilities and have to apologize for things. Like, just do the right thing. So so many amazing transferables off the court. And also, I didn't know that becoming official would allow me to build this, amazing community and turn into like another business for me. So I just wish I would have known all this and I would have got in, 10 years sooner. So.
That's great, though, that it's made that big of an impact and that it's so positive on your life. And I mean, that's what sport can do. And, and that's about having passion for things and turning your passions into something that, can be a really big impact on your life, like not only on your family, but financially and giving you these great opportunities. So that's really awesome to be able to look back and be like, I wish I would have started this sooner, which is really, really cool. So that's a great one. I'm glad that had that kind of impact. That's awesome.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for being here. We're going to encourage everyone, check out Crown Refs. Definitely those young people that are listening that want to get involved with athletics and might not have a thought about officiating. Like, it's definitely so important to everything that happens with athletics. Without officials, we cannot function. So, and you can see the transformation it made for Paul's life. So hopefully it would do it for a lot of those people out there too. So thanks again, Paul.
Yeah, this is so great. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So again, Paul, throw out all your socials for anybody to follow you for information about, becoming a ref or learning about it. So
thank you for the opportunity. So at Crown Refs, really on every social.
Perfect.
If you're an official looking to join the Crown Refs community, you can go to patreon.com/Crown Refs, where we have 6 different membership options. Usually I set up phone calls with every prospective member so I can really connect and learn more about you. And we just started another podcast about health and wellness called the Dialed In Podcast. You can find that on my Instagram link in the bio. But just trying to impact as many human beings as we can in a positive way. So I appreciate the opportunity today, and best of luck to you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you so much. Yes. And then we'll do our own plugs too here. So make sure, you're following us on all of our socials at AthCareerPod and on all your podcast platforms to get our latest episodes. And yes, thank you, Paul. This was awesome. Such a great conversation.
Thank you. And see everybody soon.
Bye.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.